Yeah. This Lord Bishop. This is the War and Words podcast. We covering a little bit of that YSL. Look like it's closing. It's real crazy trial, man. Obviously, they don't have much evidence against the defendants, despite what they're doing, and it's really unfortunate. When you really look at it, you look at the actual scenario of the crimes that took place. Um, but it's obvious. Fulton County, Fannie Willis, Hilton Love, the judges, the head judge, Glanville, the county itself needs a serious investigation into the orderly practices or unorderly practices of you know the the judicial system, as a whole, and that county has been like that for some years. If you go back in the history of it, so let's jump into the trial a little bit and see if we can catch the closing. Obviously, both these guys are they got great appeals in motion. A lot of errors was made during the trial. I mean, the trial was basically a mess. So let's tune into it and see what's actually going on here. Uh, yeah.
This remember these songs were on his phone when we found it in 2022. But remember, we said that they may have been created maybe 2020, sometime between 2020 and 2022, right? At this point, they real brazen because they don't think they're going to get held accountable for the murder. So they start saying stuff in their songs like, I just beat a homicide. Ha, 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 walk it off. I just left that boy on the curb. Well, where was Donovan Thomas found, y'all? On the curb.
Yeah.
I'm a big lizard,
So that's
big
what we're trying
slime,
to do.
big shots, riding down your block,
What is
hanging
going
out the
on with
top.
my
Oh,
volume here?
shoot. Didn't Reginald Hendricks say that somebody was shooting out of the top of the infinity? See, now you start bragging on it because you think you beat it. So now you, like our experts told you, they start bragging about it. What we call is dry snitching. You telling on yourself.
What is going on with my volume?
You don't think that the police are going to find your phone. That's why you threw it. But luckily for Viverito, she listened to them jail calls and found that phone. Because you didn't think we were going to find it. This is called confession. This ain't rap. This is a confession over a beat. I don't give a fuck about a red light. I'm on go. I'm on green. I see an eye. I'm taking him down. Walk him down from a mile. The last homicide, I smile. How many times you gonna keep talking about the fact that you killed this man and you bragging about it? This damn song number 3. And then I can send the whole. One Shamel killed with a Glock. One there, a Glock on that table. Well, what investigator Viverito said it looked like a Glock. And I found it interesting because we're gonna get to Shamel soon. We're about to get to Shamel. He said that Shannon wasn't linked to the 40, but he linked to having guns thrown away. That's what he did in 2015. He's linked to the gun that was probably in the house an hour before he killed Shamel, sitting on the table in front of him. We ain't gonna play this one either, but let's talk about what he's saying this. I see Ops fall, Shell, know my call. That's Shell Kell, y'all. Every slime play nasty. That's what he says in the song. They wonder how we lasted. Bout my gang, it will never end. Again, beat the hum. What do you think, y'all? No evidence. He don't realize that what his two co-conspirators said is evidence. Those interviews are evidence. His confession over a beat is evidence. This is evidence, ladies and gentlemen. And this is evidence you can take to the back, deliberate, and find him guilty. The surveillance video is evidence. No, we don't have his phone records, but you got his two friends telling y'all what he did. And they don't got no reason to lie on him. For what?
What's this lady talking about, man? This.
What he said? That's why we popped off your big homie, bitch. Donovan Thomas was the big homie. There was no need for that ad lib at the end of the song. But again, in 2020, they brazen. They have the audacity to think that they can just brag about killing somebody and no one's going to hold them accountable. That's what they're doing in 2020.
Hey, get out your motherfucking seat, little, you know.
$100 rounds in a Tahoe? Everyone knew that Donovan drove a Tahoe. And how ironic is it that he got rounds of bullets in his Tahoe and on the street? So they want you to believe, oh, that's a creative line Mr. Williams did. No, it's not. It's him bragging. It's him bragging. It's him wanting to claim responsibility for it. And we talked about judging, like when I say subliminal messaging. But the subliminal is you, as the consumer, don't know what he's talking about. But his family, who know that Donovan drive a Tahoe, know exactly what he's talking about. Everyone in the gang knows exactly what they're talking about because that's who he's talking to. But because the masses bop to the song, they say, well, no, that's just his artistry. No, that's just his confession and his bragging over him.
Ooh.
Let's talk about the symbolism in that.
Ooh.
When he says we know how to kill the biggest kitten of all kitties, what's crawling up on him? A snake. They sign. That is a subliminal message to everyone else.
Huh?
What's at the end? He got a rat going down his mouth because they eat rats. They eat the people who snitch on them. He already told you himself You ought to get killed from me and YSL if you snitch. See, that video is not just, a nice artistic video. That has symbolism in it. So now they're guilty of all those. That's what we're talking about. Shamel. Young man, probably started associating with people from YFN. But on the day that he was about to get killed, he was about to go back to his girlfriend's house to go eat some spaghetti. That's what he's doing at the light. Get ready to go back. You see him go inside the gas station. He's not worried about a thing. He doesn't know that seconds later he's going to lose his life. So the timeline here, this is, and I'll tell you here, this is a direct result of retaliation from the stabbing of Lucci. So what do we have? February 9th, Rayshawn Bennett gets stabbed in the Fulton County Jail by Jada Myrick. February 22nd, Eppinger calls Antonio Sumlin to see if he could get paid for finishing what Myrick didn't do. Then you heard about that emergency bond paperwork that was filled out on March 3rd. Then sometime around early March, the media hears about the YFN Lucci stabbing. It gets picked up on media. On March 11th at 3 a.m., two YSL associates, Christian McMillan and Darius Ford, are murdered on I-75 and I-85. That same night, there's a shooting at 12 Atlanta where a YFN associate gets shot in the head. On March 12th, there's a shootout on Cleveland Avenue with Demekion Garlington and the ops. On March 12th, there's a 911 call shooting at 2830 Waters Road. March 14th,
what does any of it mean?
And puts dark tints on all the windows. March 14th, 10 o'clock is the murder of Shamel Drinks. On March 16th, the shooting at Waters Road, where the investigator Rita comes out. March 17th, there's a search of Waters Road where everything is taken out except for a few that they left behind. And then Stillwell and Nick arrested. Again, we talk about the state does not have to prove motive, but here, ladies and gentlemen, this is motive. Again, that's that same video with Quindarius, y'all. Christian McMillan's been around since 2009. This is Mr. Williams' long friend, old friend, good friend. And he gets murdered by YFN associates. Oh, you got to pay for that. Here we have just different pictures of them, both Mr. Ford and Mr. McMillan, all with other YSL associates. You'll have these in evidence, ladies and gentlemen. That's unfortunately the car that they were driving. They were tragically gunned down on March 11th. So here's where the motive comes in, y'all. Just like YSL brags about doing stuff, YFN does the same thing. It's tragic. These posts were despicable. That post crossing out that young girl, they're saying that, despicable. But that's the type of stuff that gangs do, right? To keep nudging each other. Well, that would make you mad. You see how heartbroken YSL was for the death of Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford. They were devastated. These are all different YSL members posting them because they were devastated. And that's where revenge kicks in. That is Mr. Stillwell's post. I ain't gonna be the only one crying. Nope, you're right. The Drinks family crying. Because he had to make sure. And what does he say here? Just met, I got you, man. Crying emoji, broken heart, taped up heart, devil emoji. He was ready to go op hunting. I know that was in January, but that just goes to show you he already knew how to be on the prowl. He already knew how to go op hunting. And this is what Demekion say on the wiretap on about March 11th and March 12th. March 12th.
I ain't talking about the A&B.
Oh, A&B.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what he on. He on looking for them folks who killed our boys. That's what he on.
Yeah, I know. Well,
So, I mean, if you look at it, you'll be able to see, right? You'll be able to see.
yeah. Yeah.
Same shit. We on the prowl. We looking. We went because we need to go find them folks who killed our boys. So we out hunting. Let's go rent this car. Now, you know, this notion that they rented a car because Taisha got into the gunfight. Well, she got into the gunfight on March 9th. So she got into the gunfight on March 9th. Why y'all just renting the car on March 9th? They rent the car on March 14th. Oh, here we go. And what do? Immediately go to the tent place to go get the rental car tinted. Well, why do you do that when you're op hunting? Because the ops don't know what kind of car you in. So you can disguise yourself in this Audi because they don't know you in it. So they're not suspecting you. That's not the car that they're used to. So when you go op hunting, you got to switch the car out because they're not expecting you in the car. And then you get tents, but not just regular tents, y'all, like dark black tents. Like you can't see nothing. Some may say those are not the tents you're ever allowed to have on your car. Why? Because you out hunting. What do we know about Shell Kell and Demikion Garnett's social media? What does investigative Rito tell you? That because she was following both pages, she could see who followed who, and Demikion followed Kelvin Wise. So what post do we see? This post was posted, I believe, on March 13th. And it's a picture of Mr. Drinks, Jasper Walters, and Kelvin Wise. And Shell Kell reposted it with the two shells, the zipper lip, and the black heart. And I guess for Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Garnett, there must be a confession. Because this is the post that got Mr. Drinks killed. No one knew who Mr. Drinks was. The investigators didn't know. When you listen to some of the wiretaps y'all listened to, they didn't know. So this post is a post that gets him killed. Not any verification, not that you should have been killing anybody anyway, but no verification whether or not they actually did or anything. But because Shell Kell posted two shells, a zip lip, and a black heart, that was Mr. Drinks' death sentence. Op hunted. The reason why we took this picture, y'all, is if you remember from the video, and we're going to look at the video in a moment, Shannon was parked about right here in the Audi. And we know that because you see him when he comes in. If you watch the videos, you see when he comes in. Remember that Mr. Drinks pulled up to this pump. No, this pump. They had the best vantage point to see when Mr. Drinks came in, when he walked into the store, when he walked back out the store, and when he pulled off. They were scoping it out, verifying. I submit they in the car. Like, is that him? Oh, yo, I think he do got the same sneakers on. I think that's him, y'all. Scoping it out. Sit back, watching it. Let's watch the video. Now, this is where Mr. Stillwell, they get to the gas station. Now you see when Mr. Cormavius Nichols gets to the gas station.
Okay. So we've been checking out that trial, man. Going into it a little bit, YSL, it's clear the prosecutors are having a difficult time. They're doing everything to, try to coax the jury into a guilty verdict. They should have really thought this case out and not moved as fast in an overzealous representation. So let me get back to I need to jump into something real quick, and we'll get back to this trial. Let me check out something here. There was a another major story happening. This one is concerning Sean Diddy Combs, and so the Diddy situation it's really been one that we can't get around. He's really struggling right now, and he's really going through it, and it's like these guys, they really have got him in a pickle. He's in a pickle. So he's really struggling. He's fighting for bail, and there's a great chance that he's just not gonna get it. So
could this be the last week Sean Combs remains behind bars? After quite the bail hearing last week, we're going to break down what happened and what could be next for the embattled rapper who's currently sitting in detention as he waits trial on federal sex crimes charges. Welcome to Sidebar by Law and Jesse Weber. This could prove to be a very interesting week in the Sean Diddy Combs legal saga. Why? Is it possible Sean Combs could be released from jail right in time for Thanksgiving? It's a possibility. I would have said that seemed highly, highly, highly unlikely, but after what we saw on Friday during the most recent bail hearing in front of Judge Arun Subramanian, the current judge of Combs' criminal case, a judge, by the way, who hasn't heard this bail issue before, it seems a lot more probable. I'm going to explain. So Combs has been sitting in the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC, out in Brooklyn since his arrest in September. And of course, as you know, he's facing racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution charges, namely that from 2008 to 2024, he used force, threats, coercion to cause women to engage in sexual activity, including sex acts with male sex workers. That's what's known as the freak-offs, that he operated a criminal enterprise that was engaged in all sorts of illicit and acts of violence, like kidnapping and arson. Okay, we knew that. And now two previous judges, a district court judge and a magistrate judge, both previously denied Sean Combs bail, siding with the prosecution's arguments that Combs was a danger to society, given these allegations, that he was a risk of flight, given his wealth, power, and resources, that he engaged in potential obstruction by improperly contacting witnesses and victims in the case. And this, by the way, is despite the defense putting forth a very expansive bail package. $50 million bond, home confinement, no phone or internet use, 24/7 private security to monitor him, limits on who can visit him, and so forth. So a very expansive bail package, one that I really haven't seen. Leading into this hearing on Friday, again in front of Judge Arun Subramanian, who hasn't decided this issue yet because he was the most recent judge assigned to the case, prosecutors were also armed with more arguments, more evidence. Why? Because as we previously discussed on Sidebar, they alleged in a letter to the court that while behind bars at the MDC, Sean Combs has been violating the Bureau of Prisons rules. Now, by the way, that in and of itself could be used to show, hey, if he can't follow the rules while he's locked up inside, what makes you think he could be trusted on the outside? But putting that to the side, not only that, prosecutors say he has been engaging in unauthorized communications, such as three-way phone calls on a monitored phone, using other inmates' phone access codes to make phone calls, and using a third-party text messaging provider. And they alleged he was doing all of this to instruct third parties to reach out to witnesses and even try to influence a potential jury pool. And by the way, influencing a potential jury pool, that's with respect to the allegation that he orchestrated a social media campaign around his birthday. You might remember this. His family released a video of them wishing him a happy birthday, good wishes, while he's on the phone, on the other line. He's locked up, but you hear him on the other line. They're all happy. Everybody's happy. And prosecutors say the aim for that was to influence potential jurors. They have evidence to say that was his intent, that he might have said something. We'll get to that. Now, there are many, many other items for both the prosecution and defense regarding this bail issue, but the best way to go through all of this is to actually go through what was said during that hearing. Now, something I have to mention about going over this hearing, there are no cameras in the courtroom, so we couldn't see this for ourselves. In fact, there's limited electronic devices that are allowed as well. So we're basing this off of reporting from those came up at this hearing on Friday. Wasn't even about bail, but it's about what happened a few days earlier. You see, the defense had accused the prosecution of improperly taking photographs of potentially attorney-client and work product privilege material in Sean Combs' detention unit. This was after there was a sweep for contraband at the MDC. I should say, defense claims this was actually a targeted at Sean Combs. The prosecutors have denied this. They've said that they didn't even take part in the search. But there was this sweep, and an investigator from the Bureau of Prisons apparently took photos of these notepads and these notepad pages from Sean Combs' unit. In the end, Judge Subramanian, after there was a hearing held, said the prosecution has to destroy 19 copies of pages of those photos, that they couldn't use evidence obtained from those photos in their bail argument. And one of the things that they wanted to say was that Combs was improperly reaching out to one witness in particular. That would be shown by one of these photograph pages. And Judge Subramanian said that he would have to resolve at a later date if there was, in fact, a privilege violation. And if there was a violation, I'm not even sure what that remedy would be. Sean Combs' defense counsel has asked for the indictment to be tossed out. Has asked for the prosecution's team from the Southern District of New York to be recused. We shall see.
Oh, okay.
Now, as legal arguments, it just shows you how important having a great lawyer is, right? So how can I say that without talking about our incredible sponsor, Morgan & Morgan? This is America's largest injury law firm, our proud sponsor. And here's the deal. If you're injured, you got to know what your legal rights are and if you could be compensated. Morgan & Morgan, they have a dedicated team of over 1,000 attorneys. They have an impressive track record, like recent verdicts, $12 million in Florida, $26 million in Philadelphia. These are higher than the highest insurance offers in these cases. No upfront fee. The whole process can be done straight from your smartphone. Seeing if you have a case can be done in 8 clicks or less. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC sidebar. As I mentioned before, the allegations of what he was doing in the MDC. Now, Judge New York, albeit the Eastern District, not the Southern District where Combs is, but on the face of it, very similar allegations to Sean Combs. And guess what? Mike Jeffries was released on a $10 million bail. So Judge Subramanian is essentially asking, why shouldn't Combs be released then? To which Prosecutor Slavic references the letter that the prosecution had filed with the court in anticipation of this hearing. And in that letter, they say, well, okay, yes, Jeffries is accused of paying dozens of men for travel to engage in commercial sex acts, that he used a security company to surveil and intimidate witnesses, but these are superficial similarities with Sean Combs. First, unlike Sean Combs, Mike Jeffries is not accused of committing violent acts that were separate and apart from the sex trafficking allegations, and also, he didn't use firearms. Also, they say Jeffries is not accused of racketeering like Sean Combs is. Combs, they say, is continually engaging in obstruction. Jeffries' allegations of obstruction ended in 2015. And also, Mike Jeffries is 80 years old. Sean Combs is 55. Two different dangers. Now, interestingly, Sean Combs' other lawyer, Alexandra Shapiro, she jumped in at one point during the hearing, and she actually argued to Judge Subramanian that the Jeffries case is actually worse than Sean Combs' case. Why? Because there, prosecutors are alleging an international sex trafficking business and that the victims were raped and sodomized. And she also said, Combs, guess what? He's not that young either. Now, moving on from that point, I thought that was an interesting back and forth. There was another point in the hearing I want to highlight. And this centered around, once again, the infamous 2016 videotape that was published by CNN earlier this year of Combs purportedly beating his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, in a hotel hallway while he was just wearing a towel. And prosecutors have suggested that Sean Combs attacked her as she was escaping a freak-off, a clear example of sex trafficking, and again, to prove that he is a danger. Dangerousness, key factor in a bail analysis. Now, Judge Subramanian did something actually interesting. He pressed the prosecution about something the defense had brought up, that video may not be exactly what it is because CNN may have spliced it or edited it together. Slavic responded, it was a bit puzzling that the defendant brought this up because there's really no dispute as to what actually happened during that incident. In fact, the defendant admitted to it and apologized for it in a public Instagram post. That's true. Combs apologized 2 days after that video was released. And she went on to say, whether the video was slowed or spliced or edited by CNN, there's really no dispute about what the video shows. It shows the defendant shoving, kicking, and dragging a female victim. That is true. Actually, when Subramanian was questioning Mark Agnifilo, he asked him about these text message conversations between Combs and victim one in the case, who we believe to be Cassandra Ventura. And whereas the prosecution has highlighted the messages to show that she was a victim of physical abuse and non-consensual sex acts, Agnifilo suggested that they had more information that provides more context to the relationship and to that 2016 video. He said, it really is purely consistent with our view of this being a consensual, long-term, loving, fraught relationship that had a breakup, and the breakup wasn't because of coerced sex or forced sex. He even suggested that there was regrettable physical conduct going both ways in this relationship. Now, when it came to the allegations of whether Sean Combs was improperly contacting or trying to contact people, Ms. Shapiro distinguished other cases, like where the defendant told someone to lie by phone. She said that's not happening here. Plus, when it comes to posting on social media, she says, Sean Combs, her client, has a First Amendment right to speak up when there is a barrage of negative media coverage out there and defend himself. And Judge Subramanian said, well, why can't he just do that through his lawyers? In other words, why does he have to go through these other third parties to do that? Now, Shapiro reportedly responded, well, we're happy to do that, but we're lawyers. It's not really what we do. Subramanian also pressed her on the communications regarding victims or witnesses, and she denied that this was evidence of obstruction. And she assured the judge that Sean Combs will listen to his lawyers. If they tell him not to do something, he won't do it. The problem, as re-emphasized by Prosecutor Slavic, is she says he has reached.
Okay, so, I mean, as you can see, the Diddy case is heating up. He's going up for bail this week. Different things might happen in it, and he might actually get out. There's a strong chance that he might get out. You know, it seems that the United States attorneys have been going after Diddy for some time now, and he's more of a risk to house in a certain area and keep everything and everyone under control. You know, rather than monitoring them at his close residence. So the judges is really considering actually releasing Diddy on bail. So it should be interesting. See what happens with it, and you know, it's just another thing where you know, guys, you know, they jump out the window and you know somebody falls. You know, it's how it is. You know, so we have to just keep watching, continue to hold everybody up to the standards of the law, and see what the outcome is. But it does look highly likely that Sean Combs may get a bail. The prosecutors they really have been grabbing at other things to put forth besides the actual evidence in the case. So the case is ongoing. The investigation is actually is of course going on. But the prosecution they have some hurdles ahead of them in this P Diddy case, the criminal at least. Um, yeah. So I just wanted to jump into that, cover it, Diddy, see what was happening with him real quick. The update is that he should probably be going in front of the court anytime now. So stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. It's getting serious out there. I'm a into this YSL right quick. I'm a tune back into this YSL right quick and see what's going on with that, and see if these prosecutors, you know, ever gonna get to the close of this case. I mean, you know, we're looking at the same thing. We're
Miles leave out the store, and Miles
we're looking at
in
the
a moment
same
gets back
thing
into
over
the
and
car,
over.
and Carmage is pumping the gas.
Their case is really rushed, and it's unfortunate. There's certainly not enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. Yeah, yeah, we've been looking at same thing like over and over, man. Prosecutors just like really in big trouble. They reaching and they're showing same things over and over. We've seen these videos like
Carmage goes back into the store.
hundreds of times, man.
And this Mr. Drinks pulling into the gas station. Now, this is how ironic that Cormavius and Drinks never you're going to see they never see each other. Because Carmavis gets into the car and Mr. Drinks is in the car for a little while. Now, it would appear that all their business is done at the gas station. They don't leave. It is 21:56.
Yeah, Hilton and Love, they got a big problem ahead of their hands, man. They're here reviewing this stuff over and over. And I mean, like, come on. How many times you gonna go to this gas station presenting this same evidence, and it's nothing new with it. It's nothing new at all.
Now Mr. Drake is finally getting out the car. See where he's walking? He's walking closest to where Drinks and Demikian are in the car. Because remember, from here, y'all, you see the Audi lights. The Audi's here. He just walked right here in the same sneakers from the picture. And coat and jacket.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're still sitting there. None of them come back into the store. And Mr. Drinks walks out. And he walks back to his car. Now it's 21:58. Neither car, they're not pumping gas, they're not getting anything. They're watching Mr. Drinks. I submit confirming that that's the person in that social media post.
Let's see something. Bring it home, Hilton.
Now Shema has finally gotten into the car. And I submit this is what's happening.
Hey, what the hell for us?
He wanted him to call on video real quick. Call him on FaceTime real quick. You know what happens on FaceTime. You've heard testimony about what happens on FaceTime. What happens on FaceTime is that is when criminal activity is planned because they think that FaceTime, you cannot track it. Now watch as Mr. Drinks pulls out of the gas station. They have been sitting there for minutes, y'all. Y'all been watching this video like, what we gonna do next? That's how long we've been sitting here. And as soon as Mr. Drinks pulls out, that is when op vehicle number 1 pulls out, op hunting car. And then that's when the second car immediately pulls out. They sat there, y'all. We were quiet for at least 2 minutes here when they did nothing. And they want to tell you that some other car killed him. That's them driving by the liquor store. They laid in wait until Mr. Drinks pulled out. You have to look at all the evidence together, not just the FedEx video, but we're going to talk about that FedEx video. This is them pulling up to the light. You see there's somebody walking on the street, walking this way towards the gas station. Here go the 3 cars pulling up at the light. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't see it here, but we know that there's a red light. Shannon and Nichols are stopped at the red light. They stop. Drinks is in the left turning lane. Shannon is right next to him, and Quarmez is right next to Shannon. Y'all now see the traffic going in the opposite direction that they are in. Then you see Nichols pull up. I'm just going to submit that this car stops here. This car, I think, saw what happened. Because he stops a little behind it, like, whoa. You had the person walking down the street. Mr. Shard, and we're going to talk about this car in a moment. Mr. Shard talked about what the medical examiner said. What she said was there will be no conscious movement. She didn't say anything about unconscious movement. Because that is what you see with the brake lights, y'all. No, he could not consciously say, let me go. But the unconscious movement, because he just been shot in his head, is what is happening. They, y'all got to think about this, because this is what they didn't want to show you. Shannon went from 18 miles per hour to 90 miles per hour. See, Mr. Shard ain't want to talk to you about that. He want to tell you about a car that turned around because he heard the gunshot, but the man or woman walking down the street didn't hear the gunshot. That person walking, just chilling. You think if the people in the car heard the gunshot and turned around, don't you think that the person walking down the street would be like, hold up, let me back up. It's some gunshots down there. No. Could it be that maybe the car turned around, saw the liquor store and said, shoot, let me go get me a drink. It's Saturday. Could it be they left something at the gas station? He wants you to believe that the only reason why they turned around is because they heard gunshots. That doesn't make sense when someone is walking down the street. It don't make sense. Now let's talk about the car that was closest. You see what time the cars are going. Here are the 3 cars in a straight line. Do you see that straight line? It's a straight line. The 3 cars. His car is directly next to Mr. Drink's car. And that's going to be important when I show you these crime scene photos.
That's going to be real.
This other car that he wants to talk about, that he's like, oh, this is the one who killed, this the person who shot.
Yeah,
So
I
we
mean,
couldn't get LPR.
get to the evidence. Where's the
Where am I gonna get
evidence?
LPR from? You can't see no license plate. I don't even know what type of car it is. That car is never directly next to Mr. Drinks. It is always behind. I submit they saw what happened. And when they inched up, they looked over, was like, oh, let me get up out of Dodge. As most other cars did, except for Mr. Cheeseborough. Mr. Cheeseborough's call did not come in until 10:27, because every other car did what that car did. It drove by. That car actually waited at the red light versus Mr. Stillwell almost hitting traffic. So this notion that he stopped at the red light, if you didn't just shoot and kill somebody, why are you fleeing through traffic to get on the highway at 90 miles an hour? Use your common sense. Many of y'all, if y'all choose to talk to us at the end and you can, once the judge lifts all the admonitions, some of you may ask, how I get chosen? And we're going to say, because you got common sense. Your common sense will tell you that when you go from 18 miles per hour to 90 miles per hour, when you see the person who you think killed your best friend, that you shot and killed him. That's just your common sense. Not some random car that pulls up behind and unfortunately may have witnessed a shooting and they don't want to be involved. Let's look at the car. The crime scene pictures take pictures for a reason. Here go the bullet holes. 1, 2, 3. See, Mr. Shaw didn't show you that. Because if you see the crime scene photos will show you that a bullet went through the door where Mr. Stillwell's car was. And we'll talk about the gunshot residue. What makes sense? There's no muzzle flash anywhere on the video. So this is nonsense. You don't see no muzzle flash. Mr. Drink's dead though. So we know the gun was fired. Let's take his theory. You don't see the muzzle flash when the other car pulls up, do you? You don't. That theory makes no sense. You have to take all the evidence, not just FedEx, but everything that occurred. Like I told you, he went from literally, y'all, 18 miles all the way to 90. To 90. This is the intersection. This is 1 minute later. What you fleeing for 90 miles per hour if you ain't killed nobody? You was just chilling. And then you go to the studio and do what you do. You brag. Because remember, they all went to the studio. And what did he say? Pop my shit. I really got options. Poor little ops. Look how they just dropped. Poor little ops. Look how they just dropped it. Those are his words. After he just executed a man at a light. He goes to the studio to go rap about it. This is why they think they above the law. This is what Demetrian said afterwards. Now I know I don't know if y'all remember when we got into it, Mr. Viverito was like, he said city, he said see. No, he said, I'm coming back. We just coming back through riding trying to see. This is at early morning hours on March 15th.
Yes, boo.
Why are you coming back through the crime scene if you ain't did nothing? Why? This is Mechanicsville, y'all. They went to Fulton Industrial. This is coming back in the city trying to see. They came back through. Why? Because they want to see. Is the police still out there? What they doing? They canvassing. Any of the homeless people see what happened? Let me try to see what's going on. And then what the Mikian say afterwards? This on March 15th, y'all. We got y'all, boys. You right? They thought that they got him because they killed Mr. Drinks, who they thought murdered Christian and Darius. This is we got y'all, boys. Here's a direct response to the shooting. Remember, this on March 16th. YFM folks, and we know it's YFM, or we believe it's YFM, because remember, these shell cases, message shell cases of the Darius Ford, Christian McMillan shooting.
It's like going on yesterday. Man, it's crazy. Man, Square had me back. For real? Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they shut up the hitch back. I was in the other. Yeah, man. So we got now, and they gonna come at
Let me bring you this one. The others is in, right?
So I was in the living room with nobody eat. You know what big was, what y'all know? Yeah.
What did he say?
I'm filming.
They shot a big Nick spot. Their boy got killed in Mechanicsville. Again,
Yeah.
the streets know before we know.
No.
But how did we find out? Because their house got shot up.
Let me
I
check.
don't know why they wear the same clothes. I have no idea. I don't know why they didn't want to change their clothes, but they decided they wanted to be in their same clothes for 2 days. But they did. And that's how they found out. Remember what Investigator Hogan said, Investigator Flores, they didn't know really what happened on the night of. All he knew is he had some suspects on the surveillance video, and that's it. And just lo and behold, Viverito just at APD doing what she normally does, just say, hey, do you need help? And he's like, let me show you the surveillance video. This is all I got. And she's like, oh, snap. That's Shannon. I just saw him earlier today. Oh, that's the car? He literally just told me that that's his car. And they were like, well, why would he do that? Why? I mean, if he just killed somebody in there, because they think they're above the law. So they go, and they don't know at the time what the police know. So he tells. So let's talk about consciousness of guilt. So these are text messages on the 15th. And he is telling Poker, we need to get this hotel room. We need to get up out of Dodge. We need to lay low. He tells her, don't tell anyone any information. Why you gotta do all that if you ain't killed nobody? Because of what happened on the 9th? Well, why is it so urgent on the 15th? Not when she had to shoot the people on the 9th. You gotta ask yourself the question. This became real important the day after he killed Shamel. This didn't become important after she done almost got robbed. What else you have? You're searching for the crimes? They want to tell you, well, that's because his grandmama told him and his girlfriend told him. Well, they told him on March 14th about the shooting. He not Googling on March 14th. He Googling on the 17th. Oh, what happened? Viverito. Remember what they said in them jail calls? Shit, Miss V know everything. Right? They like, Miss V know everything. So that's why they start Googling what Miss V know. What they got. This is the same way he started Googling on the 12th. After the 12 Atlanta shooting. What them folks got about that shooting over at 12 Atlanta? You know Steven did that. What they know? That's why you Googling. Consciousness of guilt. You done fled your good Chick-fil-A sandwich. Out of the park. What? You start hearing them helicopters going. You like, hold on. This is 17. I've been Googling. I ain't heard a whole lot. Now I got helicopters. Let me get up out of here. The police sirens going, cops going, and they go fleeing. That's consciousness of guilt. You deleting content on the phone? You got Grandma Betty helping you out deleting the contents of your phone? What? Oh, because you don't want us to find that music you done put on there. You don't want us to find that those content, those lyrics you've been writing. You don't want us to see the text message that you out hunting. You got your, I don't know if it's a little brother, little cousin. I'm not gonna play the call for you, but that's that call where Grandma Betty's like, you better hurry up and get home. You know what you gotta do. Them folks got the phone. Why are we deleting the stuff? And it's not because of poker, because they didn't delete it until Viverito got the phone. He didn't want poker to have the phone. We started deleting it when the police got the phone. That's consciousness of guilt, ladies and gentlemen. And then let's talk about the call that Mr. Shar played, because he ain't played the whole call. So we're gonna play another portion of the call.
What's up, man? Hey, shit, right in this huh? I said, right in this shit, young boy. Think that's going. Hey, you know, he's on that other shit. On them. So, yeah, are you on? Oh, this is other. Yeah, bro. I know. I said, I really feel the so I did like, yeah. I can't, man. I'm from tripping. I said, what shit? I said shit for the straight to the heart. I had that shit. Yeah. But, no, it's free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. They go for it. Yeah, T-Rock was downstairs. Yeah, what's up, man? Hey, talk crazy. What is that? Just talk crazy, man. Nah, shit. You talk crazy about that? Nah, it's about me, it's about wild shit. But I ain't gonna do that. Yeah, it's wild shit. So, bro. Yeah. I mean, blow. They blow? Yeah, they blow. Oh, yeah. I ain't talk. I'm putting on the phone to you now. Yeah, you can ask me like what's going on. I'm like, I don't know. They on mild. Yeah. Cause I don't even know what the fuck you get that from. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, y'all like you were there, they got one for like, what they saying, I'm like, when they do that, I'm like, they don't assume they handle it. They don't assume, like, I mean, we didn't feel so. I keep telling you that now, Lil, I keep telling them, like, hey, chill, like, I know. Yeah, I'm like, it's fun, bro. Like, they just doing that cut. They see that they got it's like, they chill. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm still around. I ain't doing this, bro. They're like, I'm in camp, but no. They still put on top, bro. Not one word. Yeah. What they trying to portray or what they say, man, don't say shit. Yeah. I ain't know that. Don't. I think them I ain't telling them, I'm like, you understand that? I ain't doing tell my need 1,000, but anything in between, they got.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like, but I know one time they like, he paid the share that I talked to, you know?
What?
Yeah, and they paid like, and before they leave like that, like, they tell me that you paid, it was a day, you won.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they tell me you paid, work out.
I know that part. I just like, I know like how that go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really tripping on that. I ain't tripping. I've been just trying to keep bullet from, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, do that. Okay. Yeah.
I don't really be liking that culture and shit. That shit got me all about like,
Yeah. And then, I was thinking, I'm like, what the hell is that? Farms.
oh,
So they start like farms.
yeah.
Yeah. You really gotta take these stuff out of the farm. They would determine what they did themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I remember myself like there's some people showing the way to see the turn head.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like who don't last? And code on. No wisdom on my page and shit. And I don't know who told us how to video check like, bro, when I ain't run. I said, you run, you done for some head, man.
Huh?
I said, man, you say run, you done for some head.
Yeah.
I ain't know what's wrong. I'm like, listen, bro. You know what's going on? Like, before all this shit, like, out of the tree.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, you know what? I'm like, you know what's going on? Like, there's no problem. Going to get it right now. I'm like, yes, bro. You know how this shit is, bro. Try this shit, but like, I'm like, everything. I'm like, shit, that ain't going on no more, bro. I'm like, y'all, I ain't gonna give you. I ain't recording right now. I can record the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they get that video like an album on stream at the store. This and shit, like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, flip that.
They know that. So I just stay away from that police shit.
Yeah,
You know, they pen powder for rings, all that shit up.
yeah.
Don't come back clean. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't tripping on that.
So there's a few things that happened in this call. So let's talk about the first part of the call. The first part of the call, they're talking about Miles Farley. And if y'all remember, y'all heard the jail calls when they were trying to get protection for Miles Farley. Well, this call is on April 1st, early in the morning before Miles is arrested. And what you hear them talking about in the call is, one, I don't know why Miles got out the car. That's the only thing they really got on him because they saw him on the surveillance video. And more importantly, they're saying, tell Miles don't talk to the police. Tell Miles don't talk to them folk. Because see, Miles ain't never been in jail. So they think if Miles starts talking to the police, he the weakest link. So they're like encouraging Miles, don't say nothing to him. So that's what the two people in the shooting car are trying to make sure that they are protected by making sure Miles don't talk. So that's the first part of the call. Then you hear them talking about Dolly White. Well, we all know Dolly, Doug's sister. And they're talking about getting payment for a lawyer. And then before that, or right after that, they're talking about Blizzy seeing Domitian at the hotel in Cobb County. Remember, Blizzy is the ops, Carlos Barber. And so now Domitian is updating Shannon about what's happening. Because remember, Shannon's been in custody now since March 17th. What's also important is that they're on this contraband phone. So remember, early in the call, they're like, Shannon, I couldn't be on that other phone because they got my phone. So now I'm using somebody else's in jail contraband phone so that we can talk. So on this contraband, where they don't think anyone can hear them because they don't know it's a wiretap, they're like, hold on, Miles is tripping. Tell him don't talk to them police. He said the other boy tripping too. I submit he's talking about Carmavius Nichols. He's just trying to keep Buddy calm. Because remember, at this time, only 2 people are locked up. Shannon and Cormarvius. Miles is not locked up, and we have not confirmed that DeMarco Boyer is a part of this. So he's trying to keep Quay down, trying to keep Miles from snitching, and that's what they're talking about. Then towards the end of the call, and I know Mr. Shaw trying to flip this, but he says, if they get my car, it's going to be clean, because there ain't going to be no GSR in it. Who says that? And let's see, did he go get the car clean? He did. These circles, and y'all gonna have these pictures in the back, are watermarks. You see, they ain't do a good job cleaning it, but it's watermarks dripping on the dashboard, over here, over here. Because he got the car clean. See, he thought maybe in his mind that the gunshot residue might be on the dashboard. It might be over here. Because he shot that gun out the window. He ain't shoot the gun in the car. Go look back at the trajectory, and he could not have shot in the car. He had to shoot out the car because the bullet had to go through the car, through the window, into Chanel drinks. I submit he not inside the car like, ping, ping. That's not what he's doing. He gonna put his hand out the car and he gonna shoot. So when he talking about they gonna wipe the car, it's gonna be clean, because that's what he think the gunshot residue gonna be. And what did Mr. Colvin tell you? He said, I took 2 dabs. I think he said he took about 8 or 16 dabs, but I didn't dab the entire headliner. He said there could be portions that had it. That's just not what I tested. You saw how big the headliner was. We pulled it out the bag for you. Is it possible, reasonable that it could have been on another piece of the headliner? Yes. Or is it reasonable that all of the gunshot residue went out the car? Because remember what he said. He said it's going to be a poop, but it's going to go in the direction of the bullet. You might have some blowback, but not a whole lot, unless the shooting happened in the car. The shooting didn't happen in the car. Therefore, it's not going to be a whole bunch of gunshot residue inside of the car. Remember, we asked him, is there going to be a distinction between the 2? He said there's going to be way more gunshot residue if, say, the Mikion or someone in the car fired. But if the gun is outside the car window, it's not going to blow back a little, not a lot. It's going to go towards the direction of the gun, or of the bullet. But that would be towards the direction of Mr. Drinks. So any gunshot residue, he thought he wiped down. That's why he says that on a contraband call to his co-conspirator, who they both killed, Chanel. Don't worry about it, bro. If nothing else, when they got the car, don't worry about it. That gunshot residue. We cleaned that. That's why he wanted to extend the car rental. He extended the car rental on March 15th. He had to. He couldn't take the car back. By this time, I got to get that thing cleaned down. We got to do something with it. He probably going to try to get rid of it. But we called him on the 17th. He ain't have enough time. Now, I'm almost done, y'all. But I found it ironic how the first murder and the last murder in this indictment, how eerily similar they are. How ironic is it? They both named Nut. They both happened near gas stations. They both using rental cars, one by Jeffrey Williams, one by Shannon. They both have multiple YSL defendants. They both travel after the murder. He talks about going, they flee to Miami. He talks about poker. He talks to Poker about going to Miami. They go into the studio, writing lyrics about it. They're both Chanel and Donovan are affiliated, associated with YFN. But they want you to believe this is just two totally unrelated cases. Oh, and Shannon is supposed to be the shooter in both of them. The one who's always on go. He says it himself, but Quindarius said it too. The one who wants to do the murder because he wants status in the game. But they want to tell you, don't believe the evidence that the state brought. Don't believe any of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you not to do that. You know, Mr. Drinks.
This prosecutor,
maybe getting caught up in the wrong crowd.
She trying to pull it in now.
He should have been able to go to his girlfriend's house.
She's struggling, man. She's struggling. She's struggling.
To decide that these aren't the friends he want to be with. But no, this is what they did to him. Left him at the light like this. And for what? Off a social media post? This is trash that they're doing in our community. Same thing with Donovan. Donovan was trying to turn his life around. Donovan was trying to get into the music business. Donovan was trying to leave that gang stuff alone. He up here drinking his glass of wine when you see the picture. What did they do? Off of what? Because Donovan was at the barbershop joking, laughing outside. You see the surveillance video? And left him like this. All in the name of YSL. All in the name of the game that they want to tell you is a music group. It's music. This ain't music. This is not a song right here, y'all. This is real life. Real dead bodies. Real dead people. Real shootings. This ain't no song over a beat. And they know when they brought him to it, with his flag tattoo, his emergent tattoo, what they were doing. Ladies and gentlemen, they are every single
this prosecutor, man,
charged.
She coming hard at this.
Mr. Atkins told you what
they
this
better
was
be
about.
careful.
Destruction of people, destruction of the community that they live in. Deception. They want to deceive you by telling you that these people in here are just lying just to lie. They're trying to deceive you. This is all about rap music, rap business. It is not. This is about death. How many dead bodies at the hands of YSL? How many people shot at the hands of YSL? They are a gang by every definition of the word. And you want to talk about we are here just trying to get people of color? No, I'm trying to get gang members to stop committing violent acts in this community, in Fulton County, where each of their victims are people of color. The people that they destroyed, the people that they hurt, the people that they tarnished. Young boys. Rodalius Ryan could have had a promise in life. But what is it? He out here murdering folks at the hands of YSL. Christian Eppinger at the hands of YSL. Go catch you a body. That's how you become slime. That's what he says in his song. Go catch you a body. I'll show you how to be slime. And that's what these little boys are doing. Catching a body to be slime. But they want to tell you that we got a vendetta on people of color. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
What?
And intimidation.
Hold up.
These two defendants, Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Stillwell, are guilty. They are guilty of murder. They are guilty of gang acts. They're guilty of conspiracy to violate RICO. And I ask of you, look at the evidence. Look at the law. I know it took some time. I know you probably want to go home and get your turkey. I know. But I am asking you all to go back there, finish this marathon, finish this race, hold them accountable for their actions. When you apply the law with the facts and the evidence, there's only one just conclusion: that these defendants are guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. I'm asking you to do something. I'm asking you to hold them accountable. I'm asking you to return a verdict of guilty. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your attention and your patience during this very long day. I know this was not an easy day for y'all. It's been a lot of hours here in the courtroom today, but y'all paid good attention and close attention, and everybody appreciates that. So let me give you some instructions before you return tomorrow. To maintain the integrity of this trial, remember that you must decide this case based only on the evidence submitted during the trial and the law, as I will explain it to you. I have not yet given you this law. I will do that tomorrow. So it's not yet time to deliberate. Do not conduct any research on your own about this case or about any people or places mentioned during the trial, including online, through the internet, through any kind of traditional media or references, through social media, or by asking anyone anything about this case, and not from any other source, electronic or otherwise, should you get information about this case or about the law. Do not watch, read, or listen to any accounts of this trial that might appear in the news media, on social media, or through any other type of communication with anyone. In short, as I've told you before, do not seek any information, including even hypothetical questions about this case, from any source outside the confines of this courtroom. And until the deliberations begin, which is not going to be until tomorrow, after you have heard the law that applies to this case, do not discuss this case with anyone or even amongst yourselves. Do not allow anybody to discuss it with you. Remember, you all have a late start tomorrow.
That was
so
powerful.
I'll see y'all at 11.
I'm not going to hold you.
That was probably lunch break since we're starting late. So go ahead and eat something before you get here and come in ready to get back to business on the case. We'll see you at 11. Thank you.
All right, Missouri.
All right, and for all of y'all, because we all still have some business to wrap up and, dot all the I's and cross the T's on before we join the jury joins us again, let's plan to be here at 9:30. All right, see everybody then. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so I guess you got the bottom line of it. I'm not gonna really hold you. The closing argument was very powerful. She did the best that she could. District Attorney Hilton, with the information that she did have, a lot of it did come in. A lot of it did come in short. And this is one of those cases where it's about circumstantial evidence. They don't have any actual real evidence, no actual hard evidence proof. DNA, hairs, fibers, things like that, fingerprints, in a concrete matter. So it's really one of those cases where you have to put the pieces of the puzzle together. You get a little piece here, a little piece here. That's what happens in a circumstantial case. And that's a little bit about kind of like what happened here. In this case, it's shocking at the end. When you put everything in perspective and you look at it, you have to give it up, to both sides. The defense, they worked their asses off. They worked real hard, and also the prosecution, they worked really hard. And I know everybody has a passion in it, and they have someone that they want to see win, and we root for the bad guys, and we just want to see fairness. But at the end of the day, they presented it a great case, and it's really going to be up to the jury at that point, because as sloppily I want to say that you guys will get a lot of legal analysis when you tune into my channel, because we very inclined with the law, and we look for the law on key points to understand situations. So in this situation, you can see how, as sloppily, as unorganized, as all over the place that the prosecution was during the trial. You have to admit, everyone has to admit that at the end, at the end, she really, she did. She really. What the fuck is? Hold the fuck up, yo. Fuck is academics being doing my fucking channel, yo. Yo, hold up. Get this guy off my fucking channel, yo. Academics, yo. What the fuck you doing on my shit, son? I don't fuck with that. Nah. Fuck academics, man. Fuck academics, yo. Fuck academics, yo. Don't let me see you on my fucking channel, dude. Fuck academics, yo. Let me, like I was saying, man, before I was rudely fucking interrupted by academics, and we got part 2 of the show is coming up, and dealing with that stupid case, Jussie, what's the name? Jussie Smollett or whatever. Folio, dude. But I just want to, at the closing of this YSL, because this is going to be the close, and we just have a couple more parts to it. Guys that were in it from the very beginning understand how long of a trial it was and how difficult it was. But at the end of the day, and like I was saying, as sloppy as the prosecution was, as crazy as their case was, all over their place, and they were unorganized. Judge was yelling at them. They had countless orders for mistrials. At the end of the day, they closed it. They closed it very well. I have to say, it was very convincing. It's clear to, and so the other defendants, that's why they ran. That's the reason why they ran, and they ran for good cause, and they ran at the right time, even including Young Thug. A lot of people still have incident with, the probation thing that he took, and it had 40 years in one, and then they said Young Thug had to do 15 years, and if he violates this, it's all of these stipulations. And they was like, Young Thug, why would you take a deal like that? But yeah, he did the right thing. He took the deal, right? And he ran at the right time. All of the defendants that took the deal, 15 years on probation, 20 years on probation, whatever. I mean, it's a hard thing to do, but if Young Thug, let me explain this, right? Closing arguments is totally different from the whole trial because it's a summary, and whoever presents it to the public in a fine way is going to be able to convince people to look in between the lines. I mean, they, like I said, they didn't have any clear evidence, but they had circumstantial evidence. And this lady, what her name is Mrs. Hilton. Yeah, Miss Hilton. They did a great. She was very passionate at the end. I felt her passion. Okay, I felt her passion at the very end. I felt her passion, and humanity, like it's upon all of us. It's beyond. It's beyond all of us. And it's upon all of us. And at some point, we join together, in righteousness. And despite the fact that the evidence, they have a standard, right? And the standard says beyond all reasonable doubt, right? That's what the standard is. In order for them to be found guilty, it has to be absolutely no doubt in your mind, that beyond all reasonable doubt. So I have to say that, the closing argument was very powerful. Forget about everything else that happened. The closing argument from the state, I have to say that Mr. Stillwell, especially in particular, he's really in the line of fire right now. When they get in that room, and the deliberations, that's a whole nother thing. The deliberations of the case, that's a whole nother thing. Because when you get in that room, you got to put the pieces of evidence like Miss Hilton did it. I have to say, I mean, she used a common sense approach. She doesn't have any evidence. She doesn't have hard evidence. She doesn't have DNA, doesn't have fibers, doesn't have blood, doesn't have clothing, hats left on the scene. Guys, they shoot. Somebody's shoe comes off. Whoa! A shoe comes off, and then there's a shoe at the scene. Somebody drops their phone, clip comes out, all of that kind of stuff, which gets you in a position, right, where you get direct evidence. In this case, is circumstantial evidence. That means circumstances bring you to a common sense realization that you fucking did it. Obviously, I mean, it's like if you come in the living room, someone's sitting on the couch, and you smell a fart, right? You smell a fart. You're like, yo, I ain't fart. It's only one other person in this room. I didn't see him fart, but I could smell it, and I could see that he's the only one here. So I can come to a reasonable, right, depiction that he's the one that farted. That's what she's bringing home. She's bringing home the fact that someone mentioned the actual bullets that was used to shoot Donovan Nut Thomas, and then someone else, right? Someone else, Towers, was blinging off the actual area and the geographic district where Mr. Donovan Nut Thomas was. Okay, you've seen everything scatter, and then what really did it is the fact that they all went away. That Miami trip, it might have hurt. It hurt that it got revealed that everybody just went to Miami after, directly after like in their defense too, of course, they could say it was hot. It got hot for them and they had to leave. But the more reasonable expectation is that you're running. You're running from something. And when you're running from something, that's what happens. You make silly mistakes. You talk on phones. And I always tell young boys, stay off them phones, man. Why you keep talking on the phone, y'all? Why you keep talking on the phone, y'all? I don't understand it. But that's what got him in this case. The rest of the defendants were very fortunate that they snuck out of the case. They took those plea deals at just the right time. Thug got out of this case at just the right time, because if he was sitting, see, that's what happens. You have an overshadow. That's why it's not good to have a lot of people around you, because what they do, it overshadows on you. It can overshadow on you. So that's what would have happened in this case if Young Thug was sitting next to Shannon Stillwell. He was definitely gonna get found guilty. But it ain't over yet. It's not over. I just wanna put that out there, give a strong sentiment that there was a very strong closing by the state, the prosecution. Miss Hilton, we're going to write about it in the blog. Tune into the channel, Warren Words Podcast, on the YouTube. We're on there. We don't even have a set time. We're just there multiple times throughout the day. There's so much news and so much things going on in the world that we need to cover, and we need to cover it together. Okay, so we're here, we're doing that, and we need everybody's support. Y'all see that Cash App right there. Don't hit that Cash App, man. Donate to that Cash App. Get the show up and running. Keep things going. Support, hit that Cash App. And let's get out here and handle these tough topics, man, because this is our culture, and we have to be aware of what's going on around us. There is a situation in Georgia. We have a documentary being drawn up now. There is a situation that's going on in Georgia, especially Atlanta, which is really, really serious. Okay. And there's multiple actors involved in this. Okay. We're going to be covering that as the time goes on. We're going to be covering it. We'll be covering it big. Fulton County, Georgia. Okay. Forget about who's guilty, not guilty. Forget about that bullshit. Okay. Let's talk about the guns on the street, yo. Did you see those kids? You saw those kids running in the barber shop? About my daughter, that I went to get my hair cut and took my daughter with me to the barber shop and to get a haircut. It's that risk in Georgia, in Atlanta, in what's the surrounding Mechanicsville or whatever. So we're going to be covering a lot of topics here, okay, dealing with a lot of different things. And so you guys tune into the show, hit that Cash App, like, subscribe, and know we are out there. War and Words Podcast. Understand, most war is started by words. War and Words Podcast. That's why we named it War and Words. Okay, be careful what you say. Always mean what you say. Okay, and say what you mean. Okay, we out of here. Lord Bishop, a Tomb Raider, Sun God. Y'all tune in. It's on fire. Get the guns off the street. Stop the violence. Atlanta, Georgia. Y'all got a big gun problem down there. I want to know where the guns are coming from. That's going to be the next thing we're going to be tackling. This ain't over, man. This is not over, okay? We want to know where the guns, How are these kids getting the guns? Where's the military weapons coming from? Okay, that's the next thing. Okay, we out of here. Urgh.